Intentional. I never said this obsession was effortless. Essential. Intelligence, eloquence, and excellence. Exceptional. That's what I especially expect from this. Inevitable. For the records, kids, that's what this effort is. I'm a suburban kid, but I feel at home living through different projects. Following Homer, though no Doe or Simpsons watching. I mean the ill I add with the Odyssey and scripted concepts. The studio's apartment. For AllOne's rooms, letters are dressed in complex. Songs is architecture. Our linguistics are tools in building block sets. I hope to Frank Lloyd write my way to notable diction conquest. Consider my decisions pompous, literal descriptive bombast, but my shining should be overlooked for thinner prospects. One day they'll say a king wrote these words, like I'm Richard Bachman. Regardless of lack of incurred profits, I promise I'll always make my living off this. Since I've great expectations like I'm Dickens often, I get let down like locks of hair before women wash it. Bright idea, lamp rub, I dream that gin is tonic and I'm wishing on this. I needed novel ideas in this chapter to serve sentences, Mr. Convict. My penitentiary is the pen, is the sword, some sort of Swiss-made object. I'm not a fighter, but love is a battlefield, and this is the conflict. King Arthur, Conan the Barbarian, Doyle, fitted to fight and fit to solve it. Wheels spinning, pistons jogging, gears turning. I'm driven, constantly steering, seeking success, which could be a given. Honest, if I could just give it honor and settle for simple garbage. But since this 80s baby maybe played with ADHD system glitch and locking, my brain and I will add it all when putting it rather than written content. So with ease I'll be drawn to canvas distant options. These gimmick artists want ink for paper like HP with their nonsense. It's ironic they don't love crafts, so they make horrific monstrous attempts at art like Pigment's products. Caught red-handed, crimson palmist in the bandwagon. If the radio's flyer in your opinion, novice, these piggish starlets make success a joke like a lisping problem. I'm an energetic, rhythmic talking, effervescent, vivid pontiff with invigorating, preaching, stimulating theses, and this isn't common. No, this isn't common. My lines go up on overheads like vis-a-vis scribbled topics. Most my performances boast cheers like they live in Boston. Taverns equipped with rockets, this bar has risen farthest. Put your hands in music standards up and grip it hardest. Listeners' progress begin at long last, the strengthening, lifting process. Intentional. I never said this obsession was effortless. Essential. Intelligence, eloquence, and excellence. Exceptional. That's what I especially expect from this. Inevitable. For the records, kids, that's what this effort is. Intentional. I never said this obsession was effortless. Essential. Intelligence, eloquence, and excellence. Exceptional. That's what I especially expect from this. Inevitable. For your efforts, kids, that's what this record is. Desiring my insightful-minded atoms to make a dent like Hitchhiker's Guide. And since I was 9, I've been finding it's a thrilling science writing, kinda like a Michael Crichton. So I'm delighted when the lines that I've designed and rhymed are imbibed and complied with as though provided by Simon. Sometimes my fans are inquiring, AllOne, we love the sentiments you ponder, but they're getting hard to harbor. Why not settle instead of wander on the vessel of the sonic instrumentals that you wanna slyly pen a bit of your proper timely rhetoric in your mantras, rhyme schemes, which is when I'll then respond and try teaching. Hasn't your generous affection hinged on my thoughtful side themes? Well, I experimented at constant to keep my mind free, which then again reminds me you can't spell generic without genre. I see my acapellas of hush pubs where crowds were acting rowdy. My rap beats turn taciturn cafe nerds to fans clapping loudly. Why chase the golden easy route of adapting to my surroundings when I'm capable of changing all the patterns right around me? I'm influenced by authors and poets as much as music's might. I utilize my muse's ideas to entice beautiful lines. I'll never choose to write aggressive, stupid rhymes resembling useless fights. And if I do decide to grab the bull by the horns, it'll be to teach him to use them nice, to incite these soothing vibes and keep you moving right on through the night. I wanna keep you moving right on through the night. I'm not creative, I just see places some haven't yet. An imaginative, frantic head and a passionate acumen for tapping pens. A palette wet with havoc and invasive crazies like George A. Romero's active set. Lights, camera, action said with that attempt to pass a test. Can I invest my time as masterfully as I have in the past and dress my canvas while I act possessed like Isaac Mendez and step back and just ask if I've manifested and managed to manufacture a handle I've captured on my craft and hope the answer's yes. I'm mad, obsessed, perhaps a drastic standard set, but in my ideal work when I wield words, you could feel verses. I'm a real pertinent Neil Peart with steel nerves and a zeal burst, beating my head on conundrums in a field search to yield worth. What moves you? I'm influenced by authors and poets as much as music's might. I utilize my muse's ideas to entice beautiful lines. I'll never choose to write aggressive, stupid rhymes resembling useless fights. And if I do decide to grab the bull by the horns, it'll be to teach him to use them nice, to incite these soothing vibes and keep you moving right on through the night. I wanna keep you moving right on through the night. Some curtains are closed and drawn, but my hope is not. I'm holding on, my sense of knowing's strong. My future's close to rot, like Tobin's palm. I chase it like a homing dog, basset face. Overall, I'll be over all ears if you're a basket case woven wrong with salt tears when life seems cloaked in flaws. If you need me, just blow the horns. I'm influenced by authors and poets as much as music's might. I utilize my muse's ideas to entice beautiful lines. I'll never choose to write aggressive, stupid rhymes resembling useless fights. And if I do decide to grab the bull by the horns, it'll be to teach him to use them nice, to incite these soothing vibes and keep you moving right on through the night. I wanna keep you moving right on through the night. I never want to wake with the thought that I'm a slave to a cause that don't elate me at all. Life is way too short to spend the days I'm allotted impatiently longing, complacent and cross-sedated and drawn in a matrix mirage. Hating my job, staring blank at a clock, neighbors vacant and lost, blatantly bored. The smile on each face is dissolved, their state of blanketed fraud. If this is a description of the place that you're caught, played as a pawn, restrained by the law and a wage that's just wrong. Go on and break the facade, your situation is hard. I know you need to make it, but God, what's the rate of the cost? My prose tries to weigh out the cons between the gain and the loss. Don't end up gray in a fog, summon your greatest of wants and then create it, cause y'all always got what it takes. Now just take what it's got. Come on. You gotta save up savings, save integrity. We're getting build here, make your legacy. You gotta save up savings, save integrity. We're getting build here, make your legacy. Tax paid, cash fades, rent steep. Sam's gaze, glance glazed, dense sleep. Fast pace, sad shame, spent weak. Ran great, pathways, breath heaves. Lap mace, rat race, get cheese. Tail chase, can't make ends meet. Ouroboros, full circle, biting our feet so passively. The laborious Ouroboros, knives that'll breach your back is where crying and a screech of agony. Collars white as a bleach, so tapestry. Brows and noses too high to receive the tragedy. Hiding between the pageantry, blinded by gleaming glam and greed. Cash and axe cataracts like Karen asked to see the silver lining is fee for passage reaped. It's a crime to be paid so handsomely as everything's getting ugly when trying to feed our families. We're Leslie and Terabithia, dying to reach our fantasies. Now the secret is about the laws of attraction, and I agree with it despite some flaws in the practice. I believe that if you involve all your passion and intrigue with things including hardworking action and keep persisting even if the obstacle's massive, then you will seize your interest, passing problems to clash with. But if you plead and sit horribly stagnant with your dreams fixated in thoughts of your mansion, squeezing fists, calling God into fashion, your fleeting wish is a bargaining tactic. That's when your secret remains exactly that, since you'll never know it. Notice when you're drawn to something, you gotta sketch plans to draw it back in. You gotta save up savings, save integrity. We're getting build here, make your legacy. You gotta save up savings, save integrity. We're getting build here, make your legacy. Look, I believe it's true that anything you seek to do is feasibly achievable. With reach and pull, nothing is unreasonable. And even though you think you know your dreams and hopes, to see the whole of what you seek to own, you gotta get a kick out of the things you tote. Have a ball which aids in achieving goals, like Jonathan Livingston Seagull's soul tried teaching folks with sweeping, flowing wings in tow. You gotta save up savings, save integrity. We're getting build here, make your legacy. I'm homesick but needed to move out, all alone in the streets of this new town. On a road trip, try teaching it to crowds the things that I grew sprouted since leaving my roots grounds. I'm homesick but needed to move out, all alone in the streets of this new town. On a road trip, try teaching it to crowds the things that I grew sprouted since leaving my roots grounds. My roots, my throne in place, my roost, my home estate is blue as ever, though it's almost gray. A poet would claim it's a moping, complaining man whose bones would quake when the weakest wind would blow its freight. Adjacent to the school we used to go and skate, or when it was cold we play with snowy caves, or sneak into the sump slopes to slay something spellbinding experienced in them slower days. But oddly Newfield is starting to feel old and plain. After Jericho, my folks only wait Elevated 2 grades to nomad, stray mobile and stake tents down. 3 rooms just won't contain 6 now. Smithtown was unknown and strange. I was stubborn, seldom a social strain. Unapproachable, homesick for Selden. Strode enslaved to visit and sit with my kin since I felt solely safe. After I awoke and gained friends, sold insane flicks, returned no way to live with old neighbors in a low-rate donated crib. Off the philanthropy and love of Loretta and my homie Greg. That's family enough, indefinitely I owe you thanks. After 2 years in my chosen quaint abode and base, I shed that shed for a higher calling that foamed my brain. Off the Rolodex and notes I take in between working at fast food, pass-through window and late night strolls that glowed with brake lights, noses cloaked in fragrant, smoking spray cans when I'd gaze as roamers stain that Da Vinci coding glaze for the gross mundane. Chicken scratch on bricks with tats from toys who gloated game, but no grace. An era I mostly crave, I've grown in craze, sinking, shrinking feelings, but also growing pains. I know the saying, nothing gold can stay. I felt this potent sage sleep won't retain their woeful dates. The ghosts of greats like Poppy and Dano's souls were towed away. At last, it abated my shoulders' weight. I took it to motivate, so I hit the blotched road that's way overdue for a coat of paint and repair those potholes like graves that pockmark its broken face. To go and make a show out of my boldest traits with what I wrote on page printed when I flow on stage, spitting in hopes to change listeners and bestow the same wisdom. I'm homesick but needed to move out, all alone in the streets of this new town. On a road trip, try teaching it to crowds the things that I grew sprouted since leaving my roots grounds. I'm homesick but needed to move out, all alone in the streets of this new town. On a road trip, try teaching it to crowds the things that I grew sprouted since leaving my roots grounds. To be honest and admit it, I'd rather pay homage than a visit to the stomping grounds I've lived in, as it's odd all of the differences, the altering businesses and the faltering flimsy strips and the boarded up window split from the mom and pop's withering. The nostalgia I get hit with as my childhood's reminisce. Call it a haunt with conviction with all the horror considered when seeing hollow-eyed filthy kids who are clawing to fill a fix, and the mauling of innocence shredded to shriveled bits of festering filaments. No belongings felt in the midst of this experience, just nauseousness from homesickness. When taking stock of things altered on my old property, frustrated feeling like a foreign freak. Now I talk on beats, recording these philosophies intensified, all with the honest feeling of destiny to represent these times with a legacy I intend to write, and songs to feed my obsolete friends with a sense of pride, despite that when I get to see them it's never what I'd expect to find. Suddenly I get to bump into someone I haven't seen in 7 months. I spend a couple minutes catching up, some retrospective chuckles on how our friendship was, talk about what severed us, exchange cell numbers it's never mentioned, but I knew he blew off my message once. We swear we'll change our ways after we take our separate ones. Well, it's another several months and the phone is yet to buzz. I guess I should expect as much in these situations, it rarely ever does. So my sincerest respect and love to all of you who've kept in touch. I'm homesick but needed to move out, all alone in the streets of this new town. On a road trip, try teaching it to crowds the things that I grew sprouted since leaving my roots grounds. I'm homesick but needed to move out, all alone in the streets of this new town. On a road trip, try teaching it to crowds the things that I grew sprouted since leaving my roots grounds. I think I'm genuinely jealous of a lot of these rappers that never seem to get caught up in their own head, like it's an ignorance is bliss sort of thing. If I were more gullible, I might believe in myself. When they get down, it's dancing in a session or rapping with aggression. When I get down, it's a rapid sick descent into sadness and depression. When they get down, it's dancing in a session or rapping with aggression. When I get down, it's a rapid sick descent into sadness and depression. I got to wishing if only I had half of the optimism or proper wisdom in my doctorate writtens, then I could boldly pay tenfold the cost of living. I'm not as altruistic as I've intuition with predictions. I've read my ripping palms enough minutes to gather my grip on reality, and the bar that I set at a dizzying distance is slipping. You relate to it? Well gosh, I'm glad I fathered it. But if you hate it, then I'm a deadbeat dad no one should bother with. Little orphan Annie up, I've no clue who my daughter is, but if she's made of songs I writ, I'm grateful my name will be carried on by this. Alright, harsh I guess, but not preposterous. I'm a presumptuous, pessimistic glutton glutton for punishment. Starving artist loving the blood I lick off my upper lip. Scrumptious the succulent, failure tastes like puzzlement. The bludgeoning resulting from suffering with the subtle hint of crushed up wishes crumbled in. No hip rapper hit tracks, but I laughably intend to make an impact. So I never hit that hay, only use sheets or loose leaf, getting wet, burning midnight oil and the wick at each end. My eyes bleeding in red. Ironic all these dreams I invent, but I'll sleep when I'm dead. My infectious obsession with this craft as a captain is hazardous. Reclusive passion and ration and social status just to hatch all this tragic mess. Rotten nest egg in one's basket's net. Run the numbers on the abacus, dashing a mini tour through my collapse and elaborate cerebral labyrinth. Masochist, give my jaws glass a jagged kiss. Kick to the curb, stomp, shatter it, then slash your wrist. My cardiac's intense, at times I feel that I'll crack a rib. I'm an ass attached to my master's caravan mask with a canvas tent. Miscarriage, baby talk, this is a blasphemous sick marriage. The black swan song rings a wedding bell, and I'm alarmed when I'm asking this. Is it greater creative cabinet the catalyst, or is it my craftsmanship, or would I rather them love me, or my opus magnum manuscript? And I'm rattled when I don't know how to answer them. When they get down, it's dancing in a session or rapping with aggression. When I get down, it's a rapid sick descent into sadness and depression. When they get down, it's dancing in a session or rapping with aggression. When I get down, it's a rapid sick descent into sadness and depression. Strange, I notice I feel more comfortable in front of those thick big crowds, but when I'm off stage I feel more safe once it thins down. Assumed I knew the ins and outs of this town, but I sense something fishy about it, similar to Innsmouth. Sinister, unsafe in my own skin now. I sit down with a pen plow until doubts, until clouds spill spout significance. Take my moleskin and bic and quote myself a chrysalis. Hurricane Houdini, butterfly effect, twister swiveling. Listeners permit and consider this my will and script. I wish my commemorative obelisk to be a spigot serving the thirsty and opulent, a waste to drink it, taste it, and fill their fix. Down the rabbit hole, like Lewis Carroll wrote of Alice, though it's dangerous unknowing where you have to go. Ask Joyce Carol Oates. To be honest, I feel monstrous like Charlize Theron or Christina both, while I attempt genius strokes, contemplating alienation as when Edith wrote Ethan Frome. Downhill, upset, set up, off kilter, downright, uptight, insight, blindsided, out of luck, in the wrong. I'm finished, nothing's done, understand I'm overwhelmed. Well, so well, rain parade, dry spell, spellbound, bound to spell, upstanding, downtrodden, glass ceiling, rock bottom, hard-headed, soft-spoken, closed-minded, talks open, fixated, on broken, trick my head, thoughts growing, black sheep, brown nose and red eye, out of the blue, yellow belly, I'm marooned, purple bruises, white lie, wet tears, dry eyes, let me go, squeeze tight, push me off, please pull it, pillow talk, sheet music, feel deserted, waterbed, squared off, circle of friends, scared straight, round the bend, starting over at the end, heart murmur, getting loud, nothing's right, left out, down to earth, head in clouds, swimmingly, getting drowned, getting lost, while I found I'm giving up when getting down. When they get down, it's dancing in a session or rapping with aggression. When I get down, it's a rapid sick descent into sadness and depression. When they get down, it's dancing in a session or rapping with aggression. When I get down, it's a rapid sick descent into sadness and depression. What have you really got to complain about? Just be grateful for what you have. I'd offer you step into someone else's shoes if I didn't think that you were gonna tweet about how stupid they look. My boss sucks, I've fallen in hard luck. I went to Starbucks and my cold drink had a warm cup. I think the stain's indelible and right on my expensive clothes. The service here is terrible, the food is barely edible. This is hell, FML, kill myself, OMG, I'm so obese, I just won't eat. I'm losing control of things, somebody console me please. Although I need it, I can't update my statuses cause my computer's slow as molasses. Just like this morning's flow of traffic? Really? Of course. I'm the tragic sap who this would happen to. Yeah, it's true, this town's boring, god damn it, soon I have to move out of this grueling crappy tomb. Every accident is brutal, I scream as every task is stupid. I need to feed the cat, my plans got cancelled and I'm fuming, really screaming mad as life's seriously so bad. The example and proof? Oh, this has to be good. My DVD is scratched when there's nothing to watch on television. What the hell, you kidding? I've got awful cell reception. My iPod's got no internet and I can't check my Twitter trends. My phone isn't receiving texts. My girlfriend's acting weird again. I don't think we're having sex. I don't think they like my set. My teacher wants a novel read tomorrow yet I ain't bought it and I can't afford the rent since all my check was lost to getting vodka shots or pot with friends. I gotta do chores, fold and change clothes, wash floors, do dishes, Windex, windows, weeping yesterday's half memorable mopes, worried about tomorrow as all weather brings woes. Summer's too warm and the fall's too cold, and the spring brings storms and the winter brings snow. When it's raining, it's pouring, exaggerating your morning, we always have to complain. Another manic mundane. What's your problem, huh? What's your problem? Is that really worth stressing? What's your problem, huh? Have you got one? Have a little perspective. Some get beaten regularly, braving through the hell. Mom gets chemotherapy and radiation for intruding cells. She dances her grueling daily routine despite her cancer, as she cares for 4 kids, a full-time job and housekeeping standards. My friend's father passed for a stomach attack at the same pattern, but to his last day he acted in ways to inspire belly laugh. My friend lost her best to a murderer, a mentally vexed mess of an ex who had hurt her, then looked a shotgun in its face flare staring. A hell of an escape plan, there's a twist. He left living their infant son to be raised by grandparents. Ain't it sick? The community I assist are autistic or afflicted with different deficient conditions. From Down syndrome to wheelchair-bound living, they're uplifting and upstanding citizens. Despite their illnesses, they're often altruistic or optimistic. I know great women who are rape victims, and daily they push persistent, insistent there's passion within men and women, yet never hopeless. My one friend is obsessed with syringes and always dope sick, when controlling dozing, while most of my graduate class is overdosing. Every city I visited is riddled with the homeless, with the local paper as a cultivator and 2 worn coats for an abode. Bless my sister, old Lex isn't much more than a decade old, yet is restrained in a brace, in pain daily with scoliosis. But her pride props up her posture arched proper with a nonchalance the way she shoulders it. My old friend's been a soldier since '07 and can't be in large crowds without scoping openings or groping for a holster's grip, and that's just a teardrop in the ocean. Oh, did you have something woefully potent to throw in? What's your problem, huh? What's your problem? Is that really worth stressing? What's your problem, huh? Have you got one? Have a little perspective. What's your problem, huh? What's your problem? Is that really worth stressing? What's your problem, huh? Have you got one? Have a little perspective. I realize the only thing ever looking up is your perspective. Be that little self-esteem engine that could train yourself. I think you can. There's a brainstorm on the way, and no, it ain't gon' rain on your parade. And when it rolls in, all water will nourish. And know this, all thought is encouraged. Alright, this is what I've been thinking. I traded in my TV stand for a reading lamp. Just how things went in the Pandolfo breeding camp. It's obnoxious to mom that I'm agnostic, but I believe in man, no God complex. So I'm content when I seemingly can't reach these masses. I've got a mind that's easily distracted. Often my train of thoughts derailed off a steady track. I'm afraid I'll drive myself insane into a deadly crash. I lost my sense of self to selflessness. Is it selfish to get it back? My quest is to absolve my real inner madness and solve my specific goal to appeal to a broad and genuine demographic. Explore the depths of my heart and head while representing every faction. Some days that head is light, while that heart's a heavy package. Contrasting facts, I stumble frantic in a steady panic, groping through a mental fog dense I manage as I'm desperately grasping. As long as I hold on to something, I won't come out empty-handed. Besides, I figure most of my worries are petty sadness, so if I get down, it'll be water off my feathered back. But is that gonna matter whenever the levee's crack splits? I made a forced entry, man. Brains torn up the centuries, and I'm cutting out the power trips. Brainstorm of the century, and I'm shutting down this power grid. Your fans turn fins feral, feeding frenzied sharks devouring. Friends in my social circle supply me silver clouded glints. Gonna make those punkered lips when limelight starts souring. I'm beaming, being bright might aid me in my darkest hours tests. There's a brainstorm on the way, and no, it ain't gon' rain on your parade. And when it rolls in, all water will nourish. And know this, all thought is encouraged. Can I think? I think I can. I can. I think I can. Keep pushing, pull through. Keep pushing, pull through. I think I can. I think I can. Nothing recycled, no throwaway. Syllables I placed are only stepping stones I've laid to pave a road I take to all the goals I crave. Try to mostly stay a grounded person, down to earth and navigate my hopefully potent way. Slay my strain day by day, negate my pain. We've separated, but it's okay. I'm grateful we spent that time we paid due to passion that's in my memory bank I've saved. Naturally I miss you, but it's actually instrumental in aiding me to change my aims. My sense of direction is one of the poorest honest, But the cost is I've been lost, but the incentive is I've thought and pondered as I've walked this forest. Now I know where I'm destined towards forward progress. My GPS is confidence, and thank heavens I've got a hell of a moral compass. You wanna make tight music? Try loosening up a bit. My discography's just my audible bucket list. Knowing your calling doesn't help if you hang up on it, and a world will only make sense if you keep in touch with it. Sometimes I feel small when everything's considered, so the way to be seen and make one's to grow with the bigger picture. Float in the dreamy river, flow with its weaving slither. Odd how you learn your true outlooks by groping and seeking inwards. I reach to be the finder of sense of several ways, like synesthesia kinda. I've written eurekas to inspire those who've given help, whom I ceaselessly admire. Our bond ain't broke when the bard with obesity is hired. Payback is needed for your guidance, thus me attempting teaching to acquire it. But hey, I'm preaching to the choir, listen. There's a brainstorm on the way, and no, it ain't gon' rain on your parade. And when it rolls in, all water will nourish. And know this, all thought is encouraged. Can I think I can? I can, I think I can. Keep pushing, pull through. Keep pushing, pull through. I think I can. Even when you're swamped in a murky mess, fog vision all dim and blurriness. Observe the test with assured alertness. Scale constricting walls like a serpent's flesh. Though the woes grown into throes of surface threats. Keep deep sleep, cheap, absurd offense. I prefer no rest when the work's intense. Even worse, I accept no certain death. Activate a reanimation like Herbert West. Well, words, I would marry him. Conjoining with Webster, appointing an expert. Employing my mentor's advice and avoiding the censors. The paper, the cloister, the scepter, the pen. I'm destroying my specters. Luckily coining things head first. Hoisting a quenched thirst for a foray of finesse and a portrait and excerpt. Deploying conjectures, anointing effect those enjoying my efforts. Thus futures poison its vector, much like the Toynbee convector. If I'm a reed, it's to the Keanu breed. Despite all of my horseplay, I'm not to be crippled by common office deeds. I deal with my demons, they'll be Constantine. Well, I gotta keep moving at a constant speed. Perpetual progress, see impossibly I jot these things. And I've not even stopped to think. I've not even stopped to think. If life's a game of hopscotch, I'd rather think outside the box. Walk my own distinctive line of chalk. Conch shell, amplified, launch tails, gratified, all sail, passing by, the onslaught. All's thought, all's well that ends well. Well, the ends that we'll all feel are awful. Some ends life summons will haunt at the summon. Cost justified a means if the deceased has reached its zenith. Apex marks the spot that I'm seeing, run my seeking. Keeping my friends, leaping the fence, leaving the threats. Keep my eyes that I dot on the prize that I want. Cross the T's and my fingers that no T's is across. To bare teeth and lash bareback like Jesus of Nazareth. Every crown of thorns has a rose Lazarus. Sunrise like one eye of Apollo. Apollo ball, noble, shell stroll, no plank, never horizontal. If I'm a reed, it's to the Keanu breed. Despite all of my horseplay, I'm not to be crippled by common office deeds. I deal with my demons, they'll be Constantine. Well, I gotta keep moving at a constant speed. Perpetual progress, see impossibly I jot these things. And I've not even stopped to think. I've not even stopped to think. I won't lie in peace till my own time to leave. Breathe a lone sigh of relief. Bone dry, low tide, up, mummified, pulled by a time tow line. When I know I spoke my poem scribe till my throat cried, and I wrote fine folks' lives pages. From my strode migration, provides aching. I wrestle squids off the precipice of coastlines. In my penmanship to get some extra tints to sow my better scripts in the edifice of my own mind. And etch it in my genesis till the ink in my tome dries. Know why the days roll by, cause you've no drive to share more. Dare force, third eye's a charm, go ahead and stare storm. I'm calm before you and soar through in rare form. Well clairborn, the truth's ring eclipses their lore. Therefore I'm Icarus, equipped quill's wings affixed to make me airborne. If I'm a reed, it's to the Keanu breed. Despite all of my horseplay, I'm not to be crippled by common office deeds. I deal with my demons, they'll be Constantine. Well, I gotta keep moving at a constant speed. Perpetual progress, see impossibly I jot these things. And I've not even stopped to think. I've not even stopped to think. Singeing the wicked twin ends, dissense the wickedness dispensed by Ra's rays. So I've no descent candle maneuvers. Yahweh, bounding dogged, alpha dog and albatross. Sailing into the enveloping glare of luminance. Nothing can cancel my ruthless plan to land and then roost in my ideal tangible future. Bound by compassionate sutures, I'll only drop wax to seal my fate when my letters are through, and then death gets my stamp of approval.
That's why we play so loud, because it doesn't actually hit through the eardrums like most groups do nowadays. You know, they say, well, we're going to play loud too because they're playing loud. And they got this real shrill sound, you know, that's really hard. We're playing for our sound to go inside the soul of the person, actually, you know, and see if they can awaken some kind of thing in their minds. You know, because there's so many sleeping people.
legacy's intended to be out of this world. Buzz Aldrin, world tour it, orbit a month round it. Sun once in a blue one, our dark sides are dumbfounded. The boy who raved and cried, Club Howlin', was dubbed doubtlessly to have touched talent. When we're fulfilled by wax and wane at night, judgment's clouded. Clearly that's a phase where standards fade, that'll blaze bright when sunrise come crowning. If punchlines are your one pride, punch out then. You hang with cats that are fake and striped pouncing. Plus pal, if you write on the strip for a bill, you're really just Calvin. Ironic, I'm the one foul kid, pissing fountains on your gimmick Faustian labels, wishing you're getting ousted. Funny that you change different to be the same and fitting, so you're switching your outfit. I swear on every good book in literature, I'll never Bible within your written scripture. Give this kid a shot and I'll black out for minutes with the bars like it didn't hit my liver. If you think you're divine, boy, I'll mark a missing. Kids sure think this is Mystic River. As the underground time I have spent rendered me twisted, ensuring that I'll live life quite obsessed till I die by a pen. If you're a writer, well then you're Orwell. Tight words predicting gloom, I'm getting confused. The lack of moral fibers resulting in shit produced. Assholes, this is what you need to be pushing it for. You fucking suck, what for a buck, but your woman's the whore. You have no real goals, but you're looking to score. You need your heart in the art before your foot in the door. Your music's worth is measured as we sell it when the cash is tight. My music's worth is treasured while it plays to help get past those plights. Your rhyme battle manuscripts ain't time capsule candidates. Why does no one on your VIP list define genius? Just monochromatic cast and make cartoons with a feline Felix that justifies reason. These guys seasoned 3 times a week ran simply by breathing success. At least my breathing to be quite decent. The beated lines and it meets rhyme seamless. The CDs leave spine seem sick. Single song should stand alone, don't need no 9-3 remix. Stop on a dime a dozen MC till we might squeeze just 2 cents. If find frequently glue them until each line teaching find pieces require rerun reading to really read my refined meanings. Guarantees I'm teaming with replay value just by my elbow. Designs greasing. You have the privilege of being literate and you squander it. The topics picked are illegitimate, lethargic garbage, misogynistic, garbled vomit barfed on all your discs. None ever attempted an honest confession of thoughtful invention or novelist settings or social political comments, intelligent problems, just unlawful collections, impossible weapons and stock in possession. The barbarous, aggressive arguments, elected arguing offices. Model as a leader if you wanna get a following. It's the sonic apocalypse. Bruce is bonkers at Arkham and Gotham, just pondering the horrible concept and awful chance that your discography could possibly be harvested by archaeologists. I'm not a fan of the associates you've been coddling. I'm here with a bachelor in consciousness. I've mastered pure with confidence to bring class back to the craft and truly doctor it. My lyrics were taught in colleges. You've got profit marginal success. It's odd at best you can't straight back your words despite all your posturing. Not ponderous, not positive, you postulate to motivate the thoughts of kids with concepts writ on Glocks and splits. You oscillate as you talk of blades and poorly turn away from the fan base that got you rich. Wash your palms of all of this regardless, your soapbox is nixed. Soapy is an obvious example as it's O. Henry's ironic twist. When anyone copped your hit anthem, a despondent audience was arrested when they ought not have been. Your music's worth is measured as we sell it when the cash is tight. My music's worth is treasured while it plays to help get past those plights. Your rhyme battle manuscripts ain't time capsule candidates. These corporate puppets of corpulent uppers look to sign their souls to those who've designed a hoax. They devise binding for blind control via ties that choke. Suits them right, I suppose. Geppettos, these real boys call them rhyming dope. No surprise your whole fan base's eyes are closed. Y'all think lions code for fine approach? Trying to grow a giant nose, mine's been groping a grinding stone while trying to hone the finer poems I write in hopes to supply a dose of vibes to cope on microphones. Make art at illiteracy and a mark with your minstrelsy. Be a bard built with mystery. Try exploring your history. Why such harm, hurt, and misery? We act hard when we're withering. Why not charm in some chivalry? Something smarter and interesting. And if you're gonna charge for delivery, at least express something outside of the box that you're shipping me. Your music's worth is measured as we sell it when the cash is tight. My music's worth is treasured while it plays to help get past those plights. Your music's worth is measured as we sell it when the cash is tight. My music's worth is treasured while it plays to help get past those plights. Your rhyme battle manuscripts ain't time capsule candidates. Sorry kids, keep trying. I found this weird paradox where I write for everyone only to find that it's not for everyone. This is for those who put money in the tip jar and love in the hugs that have helped me get this far. This is for y'all who are leaning against the wall, too squeamish to talk but get the meaning of my songs. This is for those that take the time to say I spoke to them and help to dull a broken edge with something that my poem said. Playing this track flashy club or ratty pub. I don't get that cafe love from nasty drunks. Sad enough, they can't keep up, so they pass me up. Uncanny, huh? Gnarled into wretched darkness, with the carving board of pen and parchment. Particles of pleasure parted. Tardy tourists tend to tarnish. Farming for affection's far-fetched. I'm largely more than petty garments. And smart when every sentence started. So starving for attention, artists. I demand supply. Yeah, it's fine if they're the placid type, but they're too quiet, or only dancing and vibing. I'm saddened by it. Looking out into the crowd and scan the night. The fact is right, there's a barcode. These numbers only understanding lines that are black and white. Feeling miserable after I play a bar or party scene. I'm spitting wisdom while they chatter, blatantly ignoring me, cause I'm not your typical rapper. Cliche beats and force esteem. I've reached my pinnacle after days and weeks of quarantine, so I can't be cynical when reacting in response to the whimsical, distracted lames who breed despondency. It's a privilege having the stage to speak the thoughts we think. My fan base is minimal, but they're family in quality. Plus what's critical in my artistry are the same individualistic properties that initially made it hard for me to relate to the ridiculous majority. This is for cheap, disinterested in wool gathering. We shoot for the moon while you're distracted by the wolf howl. This is for kids who enjoy when a book's challenging, who took hours to read the lyrics I put down on sheets. This is for fans of me who care for me. We're family, we're all one. Hold a hand and breathe bonded candidly. Y'all keep raising the roof till you're breaking it through, making the stage into Houston, the PA into boosters. And since I appreciate them, I'll prove it by taking a few supporters I made with this music, soaring them straight out the roots towards the craters and dunes on the porous face of the moon. The course away from this room. Major time to ground control. Play my songs, you found my soul. You may respond with sounds of hope to make a bomb without the rope. Most hip-hop critics typically bark, wishing me to stick with traditional influence, bumping trunk style since I just branched out betwixt the underground. They think I'm leaving the roots, weirdly considering the instruments and singing bits. Meanwhile musicians quip that I ought to quit the intricate spitting quick, continuously pushing rock like they're Sisyphus. All this seems ridiculous and I'm sick of it. First and foremost, simpletons, I'm a lyricist, and I've sold the allegiances to the envisioned scripts I'm in love with penning. Alright, enough already. Interesting how I customize everything so none of it's customary. Through months of sweating a couple sketchy weak performances, I've come to getting open love from any locked within my key audience. I keep pouring this heart into the bubbling recipe of unique formulas to uncover ecstasy from this witch's steaming cauldron mix. Okay, sure, I guess I've got a niche of microscopic width, but it's not the response you get, it's all how you respond to it. If you're lost and confused to offer the truth, I sort of am too, so endurance ensues as I record in the booth. It's immortalized proof of me talking to you to assure and improve and ensure that the wounds of us all will be. For me, performing this music is more therapeutic than sports or the boozes. All of y'all are my muses. I hope that it's mutual, this pure gratitude for the owners of ears. This is pouring into, it's an honor to do. This is for syllables within the term appreciate. For all of you who've seen me play, I love you cause you keep me safe. This is for words my wrist reads to then pass on, to give peace in its bad parts, live easy and laugh hard. This is for letters love, I have it for each of those. I managed to reach through poems, elaborate speeches. No, my practice in preaching prose is gratitude, peace, let's grow. I have only the sincerest respect and love to anyone who's pushed me or supported me. I wouldn't be anywhere without you. Now let's go places together. Thanks. At times I'm an awkward geek, but I'll give you a gorgeous week if you walk with me. I'm poor and weak, but give me a chance, I've got a bit to offer, please. Talk is cheap, that sort of theme is what they were leading to mean by freedom of speech. Here's the riot act, I needed to preach. Illiterates are spineless hacks, it seems we'll see. They're too dull to make the cut, increase or decease. Here's a novel, judge it by the cover to cover, read it and weep. Seriously, read it between the lines, I'm eager to see the signs of grieving and peace in your eyes when there are streams in your cheeks as you'd cry. Any tough exterior that seems so pristine in a guy, examine the interior, no guts. Squeamish, feel free to come by and see a soul that's inexperienced, meager, meek and benign. No attacks, taxed, assume aesthetics accessed. Hasn't assessed all the abject assets that he has yet. So here's my tactic, welcome to class. Yes, sit down, let's practice. Get to the point like a cactus or brass tacks. Hey, that's synonymous colloquially. Isn't it a sin all you've missed decoding vocally? See how fun it can be integrating inquiries linguistically. Hello masculinity, glad you had the availability. Now let's test your ability with a little vulnerability. See what Mr. Testosterone monster dose can pick up once he drops his whole guard to folks. Observe how juggernauts are slow when all alone and walls are broken, calm as known with flaws exposed. I wanna see Mr. Gruff, gritty, buff, quitting, tough, silly, bluff, fitting into take up knitting, hug kitties, pups, kitties. Once Blitzkrieg's done with these instructions, he may appreciate the crushed brick beams and destruction scenes as much as admitting loving, cuddling, and just simply stuff's pretty. It's a circle of life, be well-rounded, squares change up, triangling your smiles to prove the hexagon shape up. There's more to living room than vanity dress dress or makeup. If only you'd realize all the space your armoire takes up, you'd have more room for company whenever they come. The pudding has the proof, and so I wrote this verse with 8 cups. All this food for thought comes off as true, and it stays stuck. I think you bit off more than you could chew when you ate lunch.
I know it's a lot to digest.
See here, it's bigger than you and I, so be ears. This ain't just about me, peers. 55.3 near million people die each year. One could be you or me, dear. I'm trying to be clear. I've got a heck of a hell of a long way while I speak here, to etching and telling a song way before I leave here. Why is it a barrage of ideas crowd me when walking and showering? Is it because I'm cleansed, drowning out the noise pollution of outer things? Could it be that my traveling works as an object in motion, etc. mentality? I've got dirt under my nails, neighboring calluses. It's feeling empowering. You can't push yourself until you push something towering. Oh, while on adventures in architecture, that starts conjecture. Oh God, I bet you here comes the lecture. Yep, so have you been to the mall lately? There's advertisements abundantly. I enjoy the people, but the things that disgust and puzzle me, encumbering company, stunning streams, distractingly flashing ugly junk machines with touch screens. A commercial's an interlude to a bigger picture to enjoy and assess. All these multiplying ads subtract chicanery, deploying duress, dividing truth when they lie in our minds, destroying finesse. They lie to our face and we buy it, but that's the point, I guess. I digress, well I die, yes, but Bruce's will is odd as will is. When I smith my John Hancock, I want to invent a clone of my genetic code so I can soil myself in a sandbox. What a better way to spend the day than burying your old incarnation, then visit every couple weeks and lay carnations, embracing engraved graves till your arms start aching. That's why we crowds been pushing ourselves till our hearts are pounding. I'm only moving mountains to make graves out them. I'm sharpening my fountain of youth pen's prowess so I can imbue them with astounding profoundness. Call me a late bloomer when I push daisies after I'm grounded, because at the end of me, when my staff card's punched, stamped and logged, there's only memories I've imprinted in your minds to pass along. On second thought, sometime AD, I know I've got an ad to set in stone and etch along an upper echelon before I'm dead and gone. Maybe it's better off that a mass of y'all are entranced in malls, impressionable and hard-headed after all. See here, it's bigger than you and I, so be ears. This ain't just about me, peers. 55.3 near million people die each year. One could be you or me, dear. I'm trying to be clear. I've got a heck of a hell of a long way while I speak here, to etching and telling a song way before I leave here. This is creative expression, displaying my essence, relaying a message, strange and eclectic, greatest intention, embracing connection. I don't aim for impressive, I'm slaving, attempting to make an impression. Engrave it, this is creative expression, displaying my essence, relaying a message, strange and eclectic, greatest intention, embracing connection. I don't aim for impressive, I'm slaving, attempting to make an impression. Engrave it and etch, creative expression, displaying my essence, relaying a message, strange and eclectic, embracing connection. Engrave it and etch it.